Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spoilers. Obviously, I am your host, Joel, and with me today, my lovely husband.
What? No. I'm your Wi-Fi wife.
My Wi-Fi wife, my Wi-Fi. My wife, Batya. How are you?
Good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
Great.
Yeah, excited to be here actually. Starting to kind of enjoy myself a little. Getting into it, understanding kind of.
The rhythm.
Yeah, even though I don't know much about a lot of the things that we talk about, it's nice to be able to spend quality time with you and discuss movies and learn more, or TV shows in this case, and learn more along the way. And yeah.
Oh yeah, until we finish doing all of this, and then I just lock you in your room where you belong.
My gosh, don't tell people. I'm just kidding. I have free range of the house, just so y'all know.
Mainly the kitchen. Anyways, let's get into our episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are we talking about today?
So today we are going to talk about The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 6.
We're almost done.
We're almost done.
And nothing has fucking happened yet.
Well,
I mean, a little bit's happened.
a little bit
little
happened,
bit.
yes.
Like a little, but
Yes.
not enough.
Not enough. Again, if you compare this show to the movies, each movie is about 3 hours. So basically, we're in episode 6. That is 2 movies. Okay.
I was going to say it's the first 20 minutes of a movie.
it feels like
I thought
it.
I was going to die when you made me watch what is it called? Editor's cut or something like that?
Director's cut.
Wow.
The only way to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And that over there, every movie is actually 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, like, let's go with each episode, like 3 episodes is 1 movie.
Yeah.
So technically we saw like what? 2 movies? If you go with director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw only a movie and a half.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Some
and
help.
if you compare this show to the movies, a lot happens in 1 movie.
Yeah. It
And
moves much differently.
Exactly. And over here, like, not that much happens. That, like, yeah, stuff do happen, but not that much.
Let's see. Galadriel throws a bunch of little temper tantrums and swings her hair back and forth.
She goes to Numenor, then...
That's one of her temper tantrums.
Oh, okay.
She's constantly throwing temper tantrums and getting herself into trouble.
Yeah. Then we have Halbrand who saves her and goes with her to Numenor.
He's all like mysterious, like, you don't know me.
Yeah. Then we have the Meteor Man who,
It's also mysterious.
who basically fell into Earth, and he is with hobbits and stuck with them.
And can't really talk.
And can't really talk.
Right.
Then we have Adar, who is a father to orcs, who is a evil, corrupted elf.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
Weird
have
character.
Gil-galad, who is just in his...
An ass.
He's not an ass, but he's in his kingdom.
Yeah.
Then we have...
He's also not the typical Gil-galad that you'd expect.
Yeah.
Based on the actual character.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. But then you have, like, Elrond, and...
I like him.
He's good. He's good, yeah.
I felt like they casted it right. I felt like his acting is right. The way they wrote the character is right. I'm happy with his character.
Yeah. But, he's, like, what, in Khazad-dûm with the dwarves?
I love Durin. He's so funny.
Yeah, do it in his...
He's a little annoying, but Durin's funny.
There are some characters, there are some moments like, okay, this is good, I like this, I like where this is going.
The chemistry between
this
Elrond
kind of
and Durin.
feels like Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
But there are like really small moments. Most of the time, it's like...
Like half a millisecond. Of like
Yeah, exactly. But most of the time, it's like, oh my God, this is not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are those moments where like, yes, this feels like Lord of the Rings. I feel like I'm home, but I'm not, because this is a lie. Yes.
So what happens in this episode?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
And just like last episode, this episode is, you have several stories going on, so we will break it, talk 1 story at a time.
Okay.
So we do have the Numenorians, who are now on their boat, on their way to
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth to the battle to the Southlands, which will later on be
Mordor.
Mordor. And
Ha! I did learn things. You should be proud of me.
yes.
Can I leave the kitchen now?
Yeah. I'll think about it. So they are on their way to Mordor to help with the battle. And we do see the queen with a map, and she looks at it and she says, like, we are here. By the time we get to Mordor, that is 1 day sail and 1 day ride. So overall,
in 2 days from now.
Overall 2 days. Now, in all honesty, no, it should take you way longer than that. But Amazon is speeding up everything, so fine, let's go with it.
They're really fucking with the timeline in every way they can.
Yeah. Like this.
Apparently also in the way the horses can gallop.
Yeah. This traveling should be easily almost a month, if not more.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not far?
Yeah, it is far. That's what I'm saying. It should be.
No, that's what I was asking. It's that far?
It is.
Wow.
Like, again, Bilbo, from when he left the Shire to the Lonely Mountain, dealt with that, then came back.
Yeah, they really made that seem like that was a serious trek.
Yeah, that was 1 year.
Wow.
That was 1 year.
But that was also on foot. You sailed faster than you walked.
So. No, but it was also on a pony at some point. And eels.
As bichlal. Yeah.
But no, the traveling over here, they're speeding it up because, we are also getting closer to the end of this show. Yes! We're on episode 6, so we have 6, 7, then 8, then done. And then
season 2.
Until season 2. So anyways, they tell us we will get to the Southlands in 2 days. No problem. While this is happening, okay, we have whatever is going on in the Southlands, the battle, and it's nighttime.
Oh, wait, before that happens, though, I just want to mention that I appreciated how they showed, that scene where Galadriel's talking to Isildur, and he's like, oh, I want to be the first one to see the land. And she's like, yeah, I can see it already for an hour now.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I appreciate it. It's like, oh, okay, finally you are a real elf. Like, you do have something different other than pointy ears. Like,
yeah, that.
And a temper.
Finally. Again, that temper, like, this is not Galadriel, and it's annoying. But
grudge holder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's funny because she asks him, like, what is a stall boy is so excited to be the first ones to see the land. And he's like, oh, I'm Isildur. It's like, oh, why didn't you tell me? It's like,
you look just like your daddy.
Exactly. It's like, oh, well, a lot of people say I look like my mommy. So it's like,
It was,
Yeah, exactly. But they are on their way to the Southlands. Then we see them riding their horses on the towards the Southlands. Now, again, I'm talking about one story at a time, so obviously, chronologically, I'm kind of messing what is actually happening. But while they are actually riding towards the Southlands, what is actually happening in the Southlands? We have everyone captured in the house, and it's still nighttime, but we see they're riding the horses. It's daytime. So it's nighttime in the Southlands, but it's daytime in Middle Earth, but everything is in Middle Earth. Not only that, by the time they actually get to them, it's now daytime for everyone. And it's like, what is going on? Like a second ago, it was nighttime.
Yeah.
And how did you get here so fast? Again, you told us it's a 2-day trip overall. Now, the battle started while you guys were still at the ocean.
This was like the only episode so far that I have to say that I kept sitting there like, what the shit? Like, over and over and over again. I was like, why did they do this way? Like,
yeah.
Like, everything about the timeline doesn't make sense. There were so many parts in the story that's like, what? No. Like, what? No. And this was one of them. So.
Yeah, it's a big one because, again, they are skipping timelines so much that they're not actually following how they're telling us the story. Because let's now go to story number 2, which is whatever is going on in the Southlands. We actually have only 2 stories going on.
Mm-hmm. I appreciated that. I am not crazy about the whole Harfoot storyline.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't mind the magical meteor man or whatever, but like the actual Harfoot line itself, I get that they need to have like some comedic relief or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's a serious waste of screen time, in my opinion.
Again, according to the books, the hobbits or Harfoots were not discovered until the early of the Third Age, somewhere between year 0 to year 1000 of the Third Age.
Yeah.
This is the Second Age.
Ish.
No, yeah, it is the Second Age.
It's supposed to be the Second Age, but like in this show, it's ish because they're like 3,000 years.
Yeah.
Freaking messing everything up.
Yeah. So, anyways, now, so story number 2 in the Southlands. So we have all of our guys preparing for the battle, and they are in the watchtower. They rigged the towers so it would fall with like a trap, and will kill as many orcs as possible. And in the meantime, all of our other people are actually not on the watchtower; they're down. Down the hill. And Adar and all the orcs are at the watchtower.
Yeah, so after his like big motivational speech about how I don't even remember what he said because it like so wasn't relevant.
Yeah.
But he gave a big motivational speech. They're like war, and then they go to the watchtower and get lured in.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can smell the elf.
Yeah,
because he is an elf.
Exactly, you're an elf. You can smell it.
But like the watchtower looked really abandoned, so
it did.
It was clearly a trap from the beginning.
Yeah, and they are successful in this part of their mission, and then
they bring the whole watchtower down.
They bring the watchtower down, and now they all go to to downhill to the village itself and prepare for the battle. So they now know that the orcs are going to come down and attack them very soon.
This was another thing that I was like, what? Like, okay, your village was overrun by orcs because they built God knows how many tunnels, like freaking groundhogs, into your homes. So why are you going back there?
Well, we do see them cover some of the holes and all that. And while they're covering the holes, and they did, prepare for the battle and put all the booby traps, we do see the main elf takes the sword from Theo, and he says that he's going to hide it. Mm-hmm. And he says, like, no one is supposed to know where I hide it. Not even Bronwyn. Exactly. And somehow they don't show us how or why, but somehow Theo knows where he hid it. Yeah. Which is like, guys, now over here, you like
another moment where I was like, what?
Yeah, you should have showed us like he is fine, and he's like, oh, I saw where you hid it. Mm-hmm. But because of that, it's like, oh, okay, so I guess our elf is kind of stupid and didn't see that, he knows, or maybe he knew he knows. I don't know.
Again, it was like a what?
Exactly. Yeah. But they're preparing for the battle, and
they have this whole master plan to like set fire.
Exactly, to basically barricade the orcs with fire, with flames and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's like you have like a little corner where there's easy escape. Mm-hmm. So then we have all the fighting and battling, and I have to say, like, yeah, it was kind of it was okay. Mm-hmm. And then we have an orc attacking our main elf, and there's a bunch of blood gushing down all over from the orc's eye.
Yeah, he like pulls the nail out of like the orc's eye hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was gross.
And then the chick who I honestly don't remember her name, and Bronwyn. I really what? Bronwyn. I don't care for Theo's mom. She kills the orc, and all of a sudden the battle has ended. And then they realize the biggest, like, what is actually going on over here?
Because the elf sees actual blood
Yeah.
from someone's neck, and he's like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
This isn't right. Orcs don't bleed like this.
Exactly. And he
Takes the helmet.
he unmasked one of the soldiers, and he sees like, oh, this is one of the people from the villagers who went to the dog side, so to say. And what was going into my mind is like, okay, you basically Adar, he did a small thing over here, come serve me and I'll protect you, and now, oh, here's a battle, go fight for me, but you are going to fight your own people. Why did the people who are with Adar didn't come say like, hey, no, stop, I don't want to kill my own people. Like, we used to be neighbors like 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Like,
mid-battle, why wouldn't you just
stop, like,
reveal yourself?
Exactly.
But
like,
no, they're fighting like orcs. It's weird.
Exactly. It's not like, it's been several years, like, oh, we are now enemies. Like, no, we used to be family and neighbors literally 2 nights ago. Mm-hmm. And now we are enemies just because we decide to follow this guy.
Yeah, so then that whole battle was an actual trap, and then they wasted their master plan on killing their good neighbors.
Yeah.
Their good neighbors that had turned bad.
Yeah.
And instead of actually fighting the orcs, and then the orcs ambushed them.
And slaughtered them. Well, most of them.
They try.
Then Baron gets a arrow to the shoulder. Bronwyn gets it.
Baron and Luthien. It's basically what they're trying to do here, though.
Yeah. But she gets an arrow to the shoulder, and, I was like, that is a lot of blood or, acting. Like, all of a sudden, she gets a arrow to the shoulder. All of a sudden, she's sweating like there's no tomorrow. It's like, and she's like slowly dying. It's like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
If it was, I don't know, an arrow in the stomach, in the chest, where it's a bit more lethal, like, okay, I can roll with it.
But not like a heavy muscle.
Exactly. It was like between the muscles and the bones, so it didn't actually hit any main artery or anything like that, or bone, because it went through.
She was bleeding like as if they cut her stomach open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, when the battle first started, the orc cuts one of the woman's neck, right? And she like stabs the orc's leg with a knife. The woman that the orc cut her neck, she was barely bleeding. And over here, she gets an arrow to the shoulder. She's getting blood like there's no tomorrow.
It's Hollywood. Don't bore me with the details.
Exactly. But then, yeah, obviously they save her and everything is all good. And this is, again, the timeline mistakes that they did over here. We have the Numenorians on the way to the battle. While the battle started, when it started, the Numenorians were in the ocean. And they told us from the ocean
2 days.
It will be 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we see them by the morning galloping in the morning to the Southlands, when now it's still night for them.
But you see in the other scene them galloping in morning.
In the morning.
And then it switches back to being night again.
Exactly.
That was another moment I was like, what?
Exactly. They like didn't really realize what they're doing over here, but
I think they did realize, they just didn't think it through.
They didn't care enough.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but
there's some really interesting things that happen in this scene, though.
Yeah, but then you have like the Numenorians. They come, they show up, they defeat everyone, kill everyone, and you have Adar
who gets the
sword and escapes, and Galadriel, dodges a few arrows and a spear
with some trick riding.
Yeah, exactly. And all she does, but as she's riding her horse, she's pointing her sword towards an orc, pointing it. She's not swinging it or anything. She's pointing it towards him, and somehow his head
comes flying off.
His head and his arm gets flying off. Like, you didn't even move. Just like, what is going on over here?
Yeah.
And you like more stabbed him than cut him. Like, you know, his head is not supposed to fly off like
While
that.
like flying upside down.
Exactly. But you have Galadriel following Adar, who has now the sword, aka the key. And then Halbrand notices this, so he also rides his horse. And then we see like this chase going on.
I did appreciate that in this chase, finally, we see our first taste of magic. Did you notice it? With the horse?
Is it really magic, or was it like, you know, words of inspiration?
No, I think it was magic. I think she like enchanted the horse to run faster because she was way far behind.
Yeah.
She was really, really, really far behind Adar, and she would have never caught up in time. And he was also galloping full speed, and she like leans in and whispers something in
Elvish.
Yeah, whatever, into the horse's ear, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, a second later, the horse like is galloping so fast that she's literally right behind Adar. So it seems to me like that was kind of the first little bit of magic, just a little bit of magic that happened there, because it's like there's just no other logical way that would happen. And we know that elves have a very natural and in tune sense with their animals, particularly with horses. Like we see it all throughout the show. We see it a second later in another scene afterwards with Isildur's father, who's calming down their horse in Elvish, and he says he learned that from, you know, Isildur's mother. So like we know that there's something there. So I appreciated that it's like, okay, finally, like just a little taste of magic, like something somewhere.
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost, but you know, it's something, but it was, I don't know, not enough in my.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah. But the more annoying part for me, as she's chasing Adar, out of nowhere, Halbrand comes from in front of them. Like, dude, you like
we're behind them just a second ago, and we're way far behind.
And then you show up in front of them. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. That was another what moment.
Yeah. But he captures Adar, and he goes to him and it's like, do you remember who I am? And Adar's like, looks at him, no. And here comes something very interesting in my point of view, and why I still think that Halbrand is in fact Sauron. So in this scene, you have Halbrand ask him, do you know who I am? And Adar says no. Halbrand looks at Adar, and he nods his head yes. I was like, you good. Continue on with this plan. We have this plan that the audience never saw.
Okay.
Like this could have been like several thousand years ago. We have this plan going on, and we like, let's just do it step by step as we planned.
Okay.
So then he's like, you know, Adol's like, why did I kill someone you love, or your family, or your son? And again, this is just play as a plan is going on. And then Halbrand is like going to attempt to kill him, knowing she's going to stop him. So
she's like, eat your tongue.
Yeah, stupid quote.
She said that you can't hydrate yourself by drinking seawater, so don't listen to his crap, and don't kill him either because I need him alive.
Which is very stupid why she says this, because then later on she interrogates him.
The whole point of all of her temper tantrums that she has thrown up until now was the fact that she had to kill the source of the evil, the reason why her brother died.
Which is Sauron.
Which is Sauron. They finally have the opportunity, and she's like, no, wait a second. Like, what?
Well, he's not Sauron. At least, like,
But she knows that he's a source of evil. I get that she's like, yeah, I need to know who his master is or whatever, but like, it's weak.
It's a step closer to finding Sauron, so I can understand why to keep him alive to interrogate him.
I don't know. I was looking forward to that, and I was like, yeah, just kill him already. You know?
I was actually looking forward when Theo gave Adar the sword, and was like, yeah, the sword is hidden over here. Theo had a spear and was standing next to Adar. Yeah. He could have just easily...
And Adar's like taking his time, like prying the stone off the floor.
Exactly.
Like, just fucking stab him already, you stupid dipshit.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. But anyways, back to the woods.
Yeah.
So Galadriel stops Halbrand from killing Adar. Then they take him to one of the houses in the
The same place where Theo found the sword. It was that barn.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the exact same scene.
Okay. So we see Galadriel standing over Adar, who is tied up, and she's interrogating him. And she asks him, like, where's Sauron? I know, like, tell me where he is. And he says, like, his point of view of what happened after Morgoth was destroyed or defeated, to be more accurate. And he says, like, how Sauron wanted to fix Middle Earth from all the evil.
He wanted to heal him.
To heal Middle Earth. And then with all of his power and his malice, and to go and to find that power in the unseen world. So I don't think we talked about it in the episodes so far of Lord of the Rings, but you have kind of two worlds. You have the seen world, where you can see easily, and whoever is not magic or from magic can only see the seen world. Yeah. Then you have the unseen world, which the only people who can see it are the people who with magic. So, for example, elves can see the unseen world and the seen world. Gandalf and all the other wizards can see the unseen world and the seen world because they are of magic. They have magic.
Okay.
Regular people cannot. So Adar tells us that Sauron was trying to get that power from the unseen world. So I decided to kill him because he didn't treat my kids right or whatever. So I killed him and I sliced him in half, which I believe is a lie. And even Galadriel says, yeah, I don't believe you.
So this is where I have my own theory a little bit. I don't know if it's a theory as much as it's an interpretation of what happened a scene before when we see Halbrand in the forest with Adar, and he's like, do you remember who I am? That scene. Yeah. So in that moment, we see Halbrand standing over him, right? And he's like, do you remember who I am? And Adar's like, no. And he basically is like, but clearly you can see he did him wrong. Like, Halbrand's holding a grudge against him because he singled him out. We saw Galadriel chased after him. Why should Halbrand go chasing after him and say, like, do you remember who I am, if he doesn't hold a grudge against him? And so from my interpretation was, okay, now they're talking about how he killed Sauron. I agree with the idea that Halbrand is actually Sauron. And you mentioned before that Sauron is not only like a master manipulator, but he also can shapeshift. Yeah. And so I have this sort of interpretation of that whole event being that he tried to kill Sauron. Sauron somehow got away, whether Adar knew that or not, and he shapeshifted into the Halbrand that we see now in order to continue his work to heal the world and unite the kingdoms, with air quotes around both of those, by the way. And then that is why he has a grudge against Adar, because Adar tried to basically usurp his power and tried to kill him. So that was my interpretation from this whole thing. So I didn't see it as like a nod, but I saw it as like a "you failed, motherfucker" type of look in his eyes when he was like nodding at him, like, yeah, it's really me, like that kind of thing. It's survived.
It's interesting, and I can see like later on I will explain why I do see that your theory could be more accurate. But before I explain that, I will go back to the Galadriel
interrogating.
Yes. So before that, I will go to Galadriel interrogating Adar. So she tells them that she is going to keep him alive for the next thousands of years, and she's going to kill off all of his offsprings, and only then she's gonna go and whisper into his malice ear that all of his offsprings are dead, and only then she's going to kill him. And then we see how easily it is easy to corrupt her and basically like, yeah, no.
She's already been slightly corrupted, or else she wouldn't be going on this endless war battle, like to continue to try to kill off.
Yeah, but so
There's a part of her that's been corrupted from, I think, the moment she was in, what are those, ice caves or something?
from the moment her brother died.
Yeah.
You
Which
know,
was in the ice caves.
No, way before the ice caves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
But-
yeah. Continue.
Anyways, he tells her like that as an elf that you want so much vengeance and murder and kill.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like you have some evil in you, and you might also become one of like the dark elves, like he became one of the dark elves who worships Morgoth. And she gets so pissed off that she's about to kill him and stab him. Like
She's like about to slit his throat.
yeah, you literally just said like you're gonna keep him alive to torture him
Yeah.
by killing all of his offsprings, and he said one little thing that hurts your feelings, and you try to kill him, and
She has no impulse control.
exactly.
It's exhausting.
And who came and stopped her? Halbrand came and stopped her. Like Galadriel, and she stopped.
Knock it off.
and she said like, wow, thank you for stopping me from becoming evil and trying to kill this guy. And it
She
was
was so into it that she like slightly cut his throat. Like there was blood.
yeah. And then she leaves the room, and Halbrand is about to leave the room, and this is where I agree with your theory a bit more. So as Halbrand is about to leave the room, Ada looks at him and says, "Who are you?" And that is why I do agree with your plan that yes, this is on. He did shapeshift, and Ada actually doesn't know who he is.
Adar really thinks that he killed Sauron.
Yeah,
and he doesn't realize it's not the truth.
Yeah, compared to my theory, they actually are planning this together. But if Galadriel is not in the room, there's no reason for him to ask him, "Who are you?" Unless if that is specifically for the audience. So,
Yeah.
but then we have everyone celebrating, and we won the battle, we all saved, all is good, and then we see.
We actually have a little romance moment before then. Between Galadriel and Halbrand outside, they were sitting on the rock.
Yeah.
Right before then, and they're like talking and kind of having a heart to heart for a second there. And for a second, maybe it was just my interpretation, but for a second, it almost looked like they were about to kiss.
I don't know. I didn't. I know I did see them sitting and talking, but I didn't
They
interpret
got
it that way.
interrupted by someone from Numenor.
Yeah, the queen summoned
Halbrand.
Halbrand. Halbrand goes to the queen, and then we have Bronwyn and the queen. They're talking, and like, oh well, thanks to you, we survived. Oh well, I think it's thanks to you. But Halbrand comes. Yeah.
We forgot the moment when the other elf who's obsessed with Bronwyn, who's in love with her,
Yeah.
when he uses his special...
Seeds.
Yeah, okay. Those seeds are like so valuable to him, and he's like, let me just shove them in the hole and make her stop bleeding. And then her son has to cauterize it. Like, why put the seeds in there? Why not just cauterize it?
I think he wants to plant a tree in her body, and then she dies.
If they're like such sacred seeds, I don't understand.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But she's now all in well. She's healthy because she was saved. But she's talking with the queen, and then Halbrand comes, and Bronwyn notices his necklace,
Right.
and
Which is at this point hanging on his hip. But, yeah.
exactly, because last episode he took it off because he didn't want to become the true king, even if he is the true king, and he wanted to stay in Numenor, and Galadriel convinced him to come to Numenor to this exhibition. So she sees this necklace, and she says, "Are you our true king that was promised?" Like, "Yes, I am." And then they all cheer for him, like, "Yeah, rock on." And then we see the old farmer dude who is somehow still alive.
Because we saw Adar before, right before. I don't remember which part, but we saw him at one point and was like...
As the tower is falling.
Yeah, so he's like, I need you to do me a favor. and he gives him, like, we didn't see this part, but we now understand that favor he was asking him was to take the actual sword and, like, reconstruct it, because he knew shit was about to go down. And Galadriel thought this entire time she had the sword, but no, she had
an axe.
An axe wrapped in the cloth.
Yeah, that she gave it to the elf, that then the elf gave it to Theo.
Which is so stupid.
But no, what was really stupid is, why did no one open the wrapper and look what is inside and just assume what's over there?
Yeah.
That is, you know, I can actually, that scene with the elf and Theo I actually really appreciated, because I felt like, okay, I feel like you are an elf of that little conversation. Like, the kid, Theo tells him, like, you know, I feel sad or upset because I felt powerful and now I feel lost. And he tells him, like, here, so you'd heal from that loss. Here, take this, you know, the sword, give it to the Numenorians so they will throw it and toss it to the ocean.
Okay, but this is what doesn't make sense to me. He has been given this sword to destroy, right? Mm-hmm. He tried to destroy it previously in the episode. He couldn't destroy it. That's why he decided to hide it where no one else could find it. And Theo still figured out where it was. He knows just how powerful of a tool that is. And here, Theo was he was tempted by the sword. Mm-hmm. And he gave in to that temptation. So then instead of saying, well, you know, don't worry, we're going to give it to the Numenorians, or do something else in a very, in a very responsible way, instead, he's like, here, kid, take the most valuable thing. The reason why we just fought this entire fucking war the past 2 episodes. Here you go, take it and give it to the Numenorians. Like, no. Why would you pass it to someone? That's like putting a bottle of alcohol in front of an alcoholic and being like,
get sober.
Here you go. I'm just going to leave this here. Like, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no.
It was so stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid, but I can understand, like, you know, like, he's trying to help him, but again, yeah, you wouldn't give an alcoholic alcohol. But anyways, at the end, Theo is the only one who takes the sword, aka the axe, out of the wrapper, and we see that it's not the actual sword, it's an axe. And then we see the old farmer dude with the sword. He activated it by stabbing himself and turned it into the key, and now he's, you know, puts into the keyhole, twist it, and now the entire but the entire plane of field is shaking
almost like
and moving and opening, and we see, like, now water is pouring into the tunnels where the orcs were digging. Mm-hmm. And it all leads into this huge mountain that we see. It's a very beautiful mountain. It also has snow on it on the very top.
Yeah.
But apparently in the core of this mountain has lava.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes. And all the water goes into the lava.
And bam, they all die.
And
just kidding. This is spoilers, obviously, right?
Yeah. But this is basically the origins of the Mount Doom, which
is that how Mount Doom actually happens?
I don't know. I actually I don't remember if I looked it up. I don't know the origins of Mount Doom. I don't remember. Okay. But I have to say, I actually did appreciate this, and I felt like, wow, this is actually nice. This is awesome. Mm-hmm. We get the origins of Mount Doom.
And it deepens the plot.
It does. So. It does deepen the plot. I did enjoy this part of the show. And then we see basically volcano erupts and destroys the village, and Galadriel's just standing there like a total shock.
Pompeii style.
Yeah, and like shock, and I'm badass. I'm not gonna be afraid and run. Well, everyone else is like freaking out.
Like a whole cloud of just pure ash and lava comes flying at her, and she just stands there as if she's gonna be unscathed.
Yeah.
Just wait. The next episode, she's just gonna stand up and be unscathed. Like,
well,
oops, my hair got dirty.
Well, we will have to see in the next episode. My theory with this season, because again, we have 5 seasons, not because this show is good, but because they paid for 5 seasons. So
a lot of monies.
Yeah. So we have 5 seasons, and I think that this season is more like let's give like origin stories. Here's the origin story for Mount Doom. Here's some origin stories for our characters.
For the Mithril.
For the Mithril. Yeah, like let's build little origins. I don't believe we will see the creations of the rings on this season or even talk about it. We'll probably talk about it towards the end of season 2, maybe at season 3. That's where we will actually talk on the rings itself.
There's so much that can happen though, because we also at some point need to see the fall of Khazad-dûm from the Balrog, and then at some point we also need to see the fall of Numenor, and like these are things that they've been teasing in the show.
Yeah,
that we know eventually they're gonna end up showing.
Yeah. Well, if you go according to the timeline, yes, the fall of Numenor, yes, we are supposed to see that. The Khazad-dûm, Balrog, that actually happens in the year 1980 of the Third Age. So, but yeah, they
kind of also are hinting to it though.
Yeah,
they don't stick with the original timeline. So.
Exactly. But again, I don't think there will be any mentions of the rings in this season. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't believe there will be. But I do believe that we did get to the end of our episode for today. I am your host, Joel, and with me, my lovely wife,
Batya.
We talked about The Lord of the Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 6.
Woohoo!
Almost done. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and listen to anywhere you can.
Apple Podcast.
And if you are interested to enrichen your knowledge about Middle-earth and Tolkien work, do go to the YouTube channel Nerd of the Rings.
Heck yeah.
I highly recommend his channel. He is amazing. And
especially if you don't know anything like me.
Yeah,
it's
and
great.
We are spoilers, obviously, and we will talk with you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.